Hello and welcome to this week's See You Next Thursday as we hand out our transfer window awards at the end of the podcast. We were hoping to have some special guests join us to hand out the awards, but sadly they were all signed by Chelsea to keep us within PSR limits, so we had to say, we had to let them go. Instead, you'll have to settle for the usual trio: myself, Ed 1, Billy Bob, who eats Staunton's, Ed 25, and of course Mr. Happiness himself, Ed 71, Seamus O'Deep's the luck ender. He'll be joining us in a bit when he's finished messing about with his computer or whatever he's doing, because he likes to he likes to flounce it in and make sure he gets all the attention like Liberace, as we've now decided we're going to call him. So yeah, so he'll be along in a minute to join us. So apologies for his lateness, but you get used to it, don't you? With him, he's like small. Yeah. He's like a 5-year-old. I'm telling you. He just wants to be the centre of attention all the bloody time, that boy. Anyway, so I think we need to start. I think there's only one place we can start then, Bill. Well, apart from, how are you, mate?
I'm good, thanks.
Yeah, I think the first topic we need to get into is obviously, well, I know you're happy about this, is the two Leicester PSR appeal victory and Chelsea's hotel sales being approved.
Yeah, another sad day, I'm afraid, for football and its integrity. It's all gone out the window now, integrity in football. And with these two instances that's happened over the past few days, it's just not a good look for the league, is it? It's very poor. Very poor by the league coming in and letting them basically get away with murder. But I'll call it as it is. It's cheat. Being allowed to cheat. And, Leicester are an absolute disgrace of a club anyway. They should have been done whether they went down or not, or it should have been pending for when or if they come back up. Because they flouted the rules for 3 years. They made more mistakes than Everton and Notts Forest put together, I'd say, who both got bans. And absolute disgrace, Leicester City. And they've got out on a technicality, and it's just not fair to the other clubs. The other clubs who are abiding by the rules. I'm not saying Everton, because we obviously didn't. I'm not saying Notts Forest. But the clubs who didn't buy players that they probably wanted so they could keep within the rules. And it's just been thrown back in the face. And I think it's a very poor show by the Premier League. And they've lost all credibility for me. The PSR is just a waste of time. Why have it if it's going to have loopholes where people can just flout the rules? They're basically doing what they want. The game's being played now in courtrooms rather than on the pitch, and it's not a good look at all. And I know a lot of people are disillusioned with the Premier League, with VAR, things like that, what's going on with transfers, and it just enforces what they're saying, that the league is corrupt. Call it what you want. It's corruption for me. I don't know how you feel about it, Tris.
Well, especially Leicester, this is a recurring theme with them, because it's when they got promoted a couple of years before they won the Premier League. They did exactly the same thing, completely flouted the rules, just did what they wanted and didn't get punished for it, and ended up winning the league a couple of seasons later. It's a disgrace. It's just outright cheating, and they say cheats never prosper. Well, those buggers did twice now.
Yeah, it's not a good look though, Tris, is it? For teams who do try and keep it within the rules, And another, you're talking as well about Chelsea being allowed to sell 68 million, I think it was, worth of assets in the form of 2 hotels, sell it back to themselves, and it's counted against PSR. So within the boundaries, that surely can't be right. And you know what it does? It opens the floodgates now for teams like Manchester City to say, well, we've sold all our rights to advertising to Emirates, to Etihad, to back to the club, and so half of our PSR, the 115 charges don't count now because the rules being changed now. And it's an absolute mess for me. I'm just so disappointed, so disappointed.
I mean, what does it bode for the Man City and Chelsea ones as well?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's going to affect them. So I think they're going to get away with a lot of it by saying, well, you let Chelsea do that, so why can't we do it? You know, the precedent's been set that you can pull. It doesn't have to be all about players. It can be about the club, what they do with their assets, and it's not a good look. As I say, it's something that gets right on my nerves. I know I'm probably not one to speak on this because of the Everton situation. But Everton did get punished, and rightfully so. I said at the time, rightfully so. If you cheat, which Everton did, you get punished. But it seems now you can cheat and not get punished because of a loophole that a solicitor's come up with. And is that fair on Everton? I don't think it is. All for one for all. If you're a cheat, you're a cheat. And it's, as I say, I'm just so disappointed with the league.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I don't know how they've managed to get away with it. If it had been the first time with Leicester, then you could say that's a different matter. You know, they gone up and down and that. You know what I mean? It's one off, but this is clearly endemic now. It's happened twice. Every time they've gone down, they've done it again. They've cheated to get back up. It's now, it's a pattern. You can't just keep allowing it.
It's saying it's in the wording of the way it was structured, and it's just a loophole. Obviously, a loophole that they've exploited, but they know they've done wrong, and they've got away with it now. And I know that I don't know who was sitting on these boards of the appeals committee, but it's obviously not the same people who were sitting on the Everton one and the Notts Forest one, because they just let them off scot-free. And it's not fair on all the other teams who abide by the rules. And so it's got to be a level playing field. Otherwise, it's just not worth having the rule. You might as well just rip it up and say, spend as much as you want.
Well, it's not just not fair on those that abide by the rules. It's not fair on Everton and Forest who have been punished for breaking them when if anybody else is not getting punished for breaking them. Yeah,
well, that's right.
That's fair. If it's not fair, what's the point?
Yeah, as I say, a bit sickened by that, to be honest with you. I don't know whether there's an appeals procedure for the Premier League to try and overturn because I know they're not happy with it. But the appeal committee, it looks as though their decision's been final, unless there's another appeals committee on top of the appeals committee. I'm not sure about that, but something needs to be done to clean the game up, because it's just so corrupt at the moment. It takes the enjoyment out of some of the football for me, when you think of that, And as you say, it's a loophole, another loophole. If anyone can exploit it, it's going to be Chelsea and Man City now, with all these charges against them, and looks as though they'll have a free run at an appeals committee, and they'll get off with the charges, which doesn't make it fair at all. So I'd give up with it. I really give up with it.
Yeah, it's disgrace, mate. It really is. It's sickening, to be honest. I've got to say, speaking of sickening, I think we need, before we go any further, I think we should say rest in peace to Sol Bamba.
Yeah, very much so, yeah. 39, no age at all, is he? And I've been reading up about Sol Bamba. Decent play, and but came across as a really nice guy. Everyone's got a lot of time for him. Good family man, good professional. And to be taken at 39 it's heartbreaking for his friends and family, and it's depleting the clubs and the supporters. And yeah, bit of a tragedy that this week, and a really sad time for all his friends and family and ex-players who played with him. Yeah, bit of a second of that one for me this week.
Very good defender, though not quite as good as Neil Warnock tried to make out when he said he was better than Virgil van Dijk. Even he was like, no. He was like, I remember afterwards, he's just like, no. He was a bit like embarrassed by that himself, like when Warnock said that. But yeah,
decent player though, a good pro, and and he was going, he was probably going into the twilight, into the last finished his career, and looking forward to a life, outside of football or even within the game. And been taken far too soon for me. So rest in peace, Sol.
Yeah, sad day, mate. But I think we need to. Should we discuss the games while we're waiting for Seamus? Because
he's back. The man's back.
Is he?
Yes.
Are you back, Libby?
Yes, I am back.
Hey.
Good evening to you.
Greetings. Good evening.
In that case, can we just mention the Ballon d'Or nominees, right? All three awards, the Ballon d'Or, the Copper, and the Yashin Trophy. I think, for starters, the Ballon d'Or, how the fuck is Salah not in there when you look at some of the people that have made it? Danny Carvajal, for starters. Artem Dovbyk.
Ademola Lookman.
Mats Hummels. I'm not being funny, but Dortmund were fucking awful, and he was fucking awful in the Bundesliga last season. Played well in Europe, but he was terrible in Bundesliga. You can't give it for half, being good in half the game, just a few of the games. Surely. Ademola, again. How the fuck does he get in there? Emilio, how the fuck does Martinez get in there from Villa? The Villa keeper. What the hell's going on there? And he's in for the Yashin Award as well, and Alisson's not in there. Yeah, Alisson's by far the best goalkeeper in the world, and he never gets nominated for the Yashin Award. How does he never wins it? How does that work?
I know.
But you just look at some of them. I mean, Cole Palmer, he had a good season, but Ballon d'Or winning season.
No.
After. Rodri you get. That stands out, you'd say, yeah. But Saka, he wasn't even particularly good for Arsenal last season, was he? For long periods.
No, he wasn't great.
There's just so many in there, and you're thinking, I mean, Yamal, how the fuck does he get in there? I mean, don't get me wrong, he had a good few games, but that's it, just a few games, it's bizarre. And then the Yashin Trophy, where the fuck's how the hell was Alisson not in there?
Yeah, you think he's got to be in, wouldn't you?
Have you seen
really
who is, when you look at the 10th one, Ronwyn Williams from Mamelodi Sundowns, the South African keeper. I mean, is there anything more insulting to Alisson than to be left out while he gets in? Who the fuck even is he?
Who picks them? Who picks these people?
Football, the magazine.
No, we're not talking about it. It's just a joke, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It really is. It just drives you mad because you're thinking, how the hell are they ended up with these? It's just how do you make these decisions on who you put in? I don't get it. Anyway, should we go to the games now? Seamus is back.
How does Dovbyk? How does
he get in there?
I'm not saying he's good at it, but how does he get in but Rodrigo doesn't?
I have no idea. Explain it to me, because I'd love to know how it works.
Maybe because this is an international football week, maybe we can talk about this and forget about the games.
No, we need
Yeah,
to
no,
see the
but there are so
reviews.
many. There are so many people you can like make really question why they are there.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
even though Salah didn't have the best of seasons, at the end of it, at the first half, he was brilliant again. And that's far more than Hummels managed in the season, and Dovvik, and a lot of these others, Lookman and that. So how does
No,
it
the
work?
thing is, no, the thing we have to remember is whether Salah had a great season or not is not just the only thing. It's also did the people that actually made the 30-man short list have a better season individually? Because this is an individual award
Yeah,
at the end
exactly.
of the day.
Yeah.
Did they have a better individual season than Salah, Rodrigo, maybe an Allison, or I don't know, whoever the standard other players missing from the list are? Like, it's not just other players missing real contenders to win. It's also other players that made it really worth being in there.
Mm. Yeah, 'cause
Where is Musiala?
that's just the thing. How does he not get in there? Yet so many others do. I mean, Yamal gets in there. What does he do to deserve it? He had a decent Euros. But even then, he wasn't that great. He wasn't as great as he was being made out. If he'd been 25, he wouldn't have got anything like the hype. He was getting the hype because he's 17, not because he's sticky. Not because he's great.
Yeah, we shouldn't really.
Martin Odegaard got in. I know he's a good player, had a good season for Arsenal and all, but
Yeah, he did, yeah.
did he as an individual have a better campaign than Rodrigo? Than Salah? Than Musiala?
It's hard to see that they did. I mean, there's a lot of them on. I mean, Grimaldo you get straight away. That's fine. You get that one.
Yeah, but then again, Grimaldo. You can say. No, you can say Grimaldo you can get, but then also you can say he didn't even get into the national team. Because people are gonna say this trophy, that trophy, whatever, but he didn't get there for France. Sorry, not France, Spain.
Yeah, which was odd.
Yeah.
Didn't make their squad.
He shouldn't really get them credence, really. It's just a joke of a award now, isn't it? It's just got no basis of fact.
I see Vitinha from PSG made it.
Yeah. How?
Like, I guess he is good, but is he better than the ones that are obvious exclusions?
No.
I don't think.
It's Vinicius Junior in it. It's Vinicius Junior in it. Yeah.
He has to be one of the front runners.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And, he had a really good season. But some of them, honest to God, it's just a waste of time putting on pen and paper.
Okay, I will just run through the names quickly. You guys can just say fair or unfair in their inclusions.
Go on, mate.
The guys that aren't here. Erling Haaland.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair. Bellingham.
Fair, yeah, had to be.
Yeah, had a really good season, yeah.
Phil Foden. Fair.
Possibly, yeah. Possibly.
One Premier League player of the season. I guess it's a fair inclusion for the top.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
It's a top 30. Ruben Diaz.
I didn't think he was great. I didn't think he was great.
No, you can argue since it's the top 30, so maybe you can sneak in at 20 and 30. Tony Cruz.
Who?
Tony Cruz.
No, you can't argue with this inclusion because he's getting retiring, so it'll be cheerless to have him in the top 30 now.
Yeah,
and also he was a vital player for Real Madrid in big moments.
Yeah,
Fede Valverde. Probably the same, so I guess fair.
Yeah.
Nico Williams. won the Euros with Spain and also the Copa del Rey with Athletic Club.
Yeah, I was going to say he had a decent season with Atleti. He was their standout, so I don't think you can really dispute that one.
Artem Dovik.
I have no idea what he's done to deserve to be on there.
No, Dovik is there, but Savinho isn't.
I thought Savinho was on the list. Oh no,
And
he
then
made
Granit
the
Xhaka.
youngsters. No, he's on the Copper list. That's why he's on the youngsters
Yeah.
list. And yet he was their star player, Savinho. He would have been ahead of him for me. If you
Yeah,
played.
Granit Xhaka. No, if you're picking someone off of the season for Girona, it has to be Savinho. But Granit Xhaka, I guess it's
Yeah,
fair.
you can't really argue with that one. He did have an outstanding season.
Emi Martinez for Aston Villa and Argentina.
I don't get how he gets in.
Right on the verge. Right on the verge, that for me. He could have gone either way. I wouldn't have personally had him on, but I can see why people, because of what Argentina did.
And Aston Villa as well. Come on.
I'm saying that. That's what I'm saying. Because of what he done with Villa and Argentina, possibly be on the list. I don't think he's that great a keeper, but he won things. So so I'm going to Europe with into the Champions League with Villa. So I'm not arguing about him being on. He just wouldn't have been one of my favourites to put on. There you go.
Okay, then
Go on,
there's
next one.
Kylian Mbappe. Mbappe.
I don't think he had a great season. I don't think he had a great
Top 30.
season either.
Yeah, but top 30, fair enough.
Yeah, but you can't really argue.
Yeah, okay.
Can you?
Yeah, Lautaro Martinez.
He had a good season for Inter. Can't really argue with that one. And he's Argentina as well.
Ademola Lookman. Hat-trick hero in the Europa League final.
Yeah, but is that?
But that's one game now.
Yeah, exactly. Is that now how we're basing a season award now? Is it? Because
He had a good campaign, but
it's decent, but he's not. He's not Ballon d'Or winning quality, is he? When you look at him.
I think we can just say it in this way. Atalanta had a lot of interest in their players from the big clubs, but Lookman is still there.
Mm.
Antonio Rudiger, I guess he plays for Real Madrid in defense. They win the Champions League now. So I guess he gets in. Alejandro Grimaldo.
Yeah.
For Bayer Leverkusen in Spain.
Astonishing he didn't get in the Spain squad because he was excellent for Bayer Leverkusen.
Yeah, William Saliba.
Can't really argue with that either. He was good though. I'd say possibly Gabriel could feel a bit upset to not being chosen as well.
Yeah, Bukayo Saka.
He was poor for long periods of the season. I don't understand his inclusion. I like him a lot as a player. Don't get me wrong, I think he's a brilliant player, but I didn't think he had a good season last season. So I wouldn't have had him in my list.
Dani Carvajal.
No, I don't understand that one at all.
I guess it's what he won that gets him there.
Just because
he won the Champions
Madrid.
League. Yeah, he won the Champions League, he won the La Liga, and then Euros with Spain. Lamine Yamal.
Yeah, no, I don't see that one at all. If he was 25, nobody would be talking about him. Yes, he's got great potential and that, but on the Copa list.
But then there's
not
Copa,
on
there's the Copa list for
That's
this.
where he should
Hakan
be.
Çalhanoğlu,
Can't really argue with that. He had a really good season for Inter.
Rodri.
Again, had a really good season.
Yeah.
In fact, for me, he'd be the one that'd get it.
Harry Kane.
Where he did score.
Scored a lot of goals. Scored a lot of goals.
But did he have a particularly good season other than... But yeah, I suppose when you score that many goals, you have to be on there, don't you? Top 30 list.
And did he not get
the goal
couple in the Euros
European
as
Golden
well?
Boot, didn't he? He got the European Golden Boot as well, didn't he?
Yeah, probably.
So you have to have him in the list.
Did he get that, or was it Holland? I don't know. But
Oh,
yeah,
no, actually, no.
a lot of goals still.
Yeah.
Declan Rice.
No, I don't think he had a good season at all, and I'm a big fan of Declan Rice. I don't think he had a great season. I don't know. He made a difference to them, but as an outstanding contributor, I don't think he was as good as what I was expecting from him. To be honest with you, I thought, especially the second part of the season, I thought he went downhill a little bit. I'm still a massive fan of his, but he wouldn't be in one of my top 30 of players who should be on that list. That might just be me.
Yeah,
The biggest confusion for me is Vitinha from PSG. I don't remember him being that brilliant for PSG or Portugal. Yeah, he was good, but not top 30 Ballon d'Or good.
No, not even close. I don't understand that one.
This Cole Palmer.
Yeah, no. He had a good season, but sort of Ballon d'Or, no. Sorry, no.
Martin Odegaard. I think
He
it's
had a good season.
No, I think Odegaard is pretty similar to how you summed up Rice. Good season, but is it top 30?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's
Did he win much? No, he never won much, did he? To be included in that. If Arsenal had won the league, possibly, if they'd have won the cup.
That's exactly what I was thinking. If they'd have won the trophy, I think you'd have.
Yeah, but I don't think he can get in, man. No, I'm a fan of it as well, but no, I don't think he. He's had the season to be counted on that list personally.
Danny Olmo.
Yeah.
What did he do for Leipzig? Come on.
Well, this is the thing I was going to say is that, you can argue it from the Euros perspective, but from Leipzig, what did he do? Did he have a good season particularly? It was alright, but...
Did he have an excellent season?
No, he didn't.
The answer is
not a top 30.
no.
You're not going to have him in as a Ballon d'Or nominee at all, no.
Vinny Jr., no point arguing.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. He's right up there to win it for me.
Florian Wirtz.
Yeah, again, can't argue with that one, can you?
What a lovely operator he is. And Mats Hummels, come on. This is the biggest joke.
Which one?
Mats Hummels.
Yeah, Mats Hummels. He was awful for Dortmund all last season. Apart from
He literally had. Yeah, I guess you can say he literally had half a dozen good games and that's it.
Yeah, I don't get that at all.
Which is just enforcing what we're saying about it. I think it's a bit of a joke, the Ballon d'Or. It's not. It's people who buy the magazine or that. It's just I think it's a joke of an award, to be honest with you.
You forgot about Rudiger.
No, I already said.
Oh, did you?
I mentioned Rudiger.
I'd definitely said no for him because he's shit.
No, you can say shit. No, I'm just saying. At least with him, we can argue he was a regular for a team that won the league and Champions League. But with Hummels,
yeah, there's no.
He was so good. Yeah, he was so good that Dortmund let him leave on a free, and it took him 2-3 months to get a club.
Yeah, and then only Rome because they were desperate after letting them go, losing half of their defence.
No, it was only after the window closed.
Yeah, so I mean, they're desperate. They lost their defence in the window, and they had to replace them with somebody. Yeah.
And guess who he is replacing?
Smalling, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That says it all. It's good.
And isn't he on the list? No, Smalling not on the list. No, I thought he might have sneaked in there.
They obviously overlooked him. They obviously overlooked them too.
Now, when you look at this list, you have to wonder what did Salah do wrong? What did Alexis McAllister do wrong? Because he's also Argentine.
Yeah, exactly. And
I'm not saying he should be here, but I'm saying he's won. If international trophies all that counts, then he's won. Something with Argentina. I'm trying to think of other players from Bayer Leverkusen, if going unbeaten is all they took.
Well, you can basically pick almost anyone from that Bayer Leverkusen team, couldn't you?
If Martinez, Emiliano Martinez gets in because he had an underdog season, then how can the Leverkusen keeper not get in?
Exactly.
One loss all campaign, and
Yeah.
probably didn't play in that, did he?
Anyway,
Who played in the final?
surely the
Ah,
big news is that despite Messi winning the World Cup just a couple of years ago, he didn't get a nomination.
and he won the Copa America as well.
And he was even playing football with his kids in the backyard. I mean, what more can he do? It's a joke. See, that's it. That's where it's gone downhill. It's that moment. This is proving it. That there's no Messi or Ronaldo in the list. It's all gone.
Yeah.
Game's gone.
It's always been a joke for me.
Yeah.
I can't be doing with it. It's just a joke for an award. People are looking at it as though it's a fantastic award. It's not.
No,
Just
it's not.
a plastic piece of an award for me.
It was a popularity contest for a while, but even that seems to have died off. Anyway, should we do the quick run through to review the games? I know
Yeah, go
Seamus
on.
has been dying to do that, so we start off Arsenal Brighton. 1-1 draw.
Yeah, it was more about the Declan Rice centre off than it was about the game for me. I'm not sure whether it was sending off or not, to be honest with you. I thought it was a bit harsh. But he did kick the ball away, even though it was only 6 inches he kicked it or whatever. But
Yeah,
it wasn't a bad game, actually. And Brighton were unlucky not to win it in the end. I know they were only playing against 10 men, but they had a couple of good chances, and they could have stolen at the end there. But Arsenal let them off the hook, and the sending off changed the game, to be honest with you.
You've got to say
And
Rice was an idiot for kicking it away, regardless of whether you agree it was a good decision or not. Regardless of what you think of the decision, he shouldn't have given the referee a decision to make.
that's right, yeah.
There was no need for it. What the fuck was he thinking? You know that there's a good chance that if you kick the ball away, you're gonna get a booking. You know that, and you're already booked. Just
Yeah.
don't do it. Just don't do stupid things like that. The same as you don't throw yourself into lunging to challenges and stuff when you've already been booked. You just don't give the referee a chance to make a decision. That's what you've got to do. So you've got to say that regardless of whether you agree whether it was a good decision or not, and I can't make up my mind on that whether I agree with
I
it or
can't,
not.
no.
It's one of those where I can see justification for like Arsenal fans being upset, but I can also see justification for why the referee did it. And but my point is that I just think you've got to say, Rice, you know better than that. You've got the experience. You're not 18 years old. You've got the experience to know better. That's on you, mate. That is on you. You gave him the decision to make, and the only person to blame is you. He's cost
Yeah,
his team
that's
2
fair.
points. I like him, but that's a mistake there. Did you see it, Seamus?
No, the issue isn't whether that was a good call, right call or not. It's two similar instances get the same punishment. It's the inconsistency that
It's frustrating.
is the
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't for the referee, though, isn't it? Because the letter of the law says he should have been sent off. Everyone thinks it was harsh, which it did look harsh. But when you look back at it, he did kick the ball away, so he had to be sent off. And you could see the referee almost apologising to him when he sent him off. And saying, you've done something there, I had to give it, the letter of the law. And we're asking for the letter of the law, and when it gets, they're still complaining, so yeah, he was probably right to send it off. Harsh, but fair.
The only issue is if they don't do it every time. I mean, they really have to. It's really annoying when they don't.
Yeah.
I think they've got to start doing it for all of it, and then nobody can complain. Yeah, then there would be no argument about it.
I guess they are like the issue is also because it was a second yellow. If it was just a random yellow somewhere, then people wouldn't have really taken note of it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, isn't it? So, if it had been just a yellow, nobody would have batted an eyelid.
And it being a high-profile player like Rice as well, that caused it to be a bigger deal than what it would have been if it had been just a normal run-of-the-mill player.
And I think it didn't. And also, because Brighton then went on and equalised, if Arsenal had hung on to a 1-0 win, or, managed to nick a second or something, nobody would have meant, it would have been forgotten about. But because it's cost them 2 points, especially in a race that looks like it could come down to, 2 points could cost you the league at the end of the season at the way it's going. The way it's been going the last few years, it could be the difference between them coming second and could be the difference between them winning the league or coming third at the end of the season. It could be that tight, You just, you can see why they're upset. But again, like I said, Rice shouldn't have done it. So.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, you just like, I'm. Either way, it's fine. If he didn't send him off, I wouldn't have been too bothered if he'd just said, "Oh, I'm gonna manage the game and not send you off for that." Though, that's your final warning. You do anything else, you're off. I can't put, I can't say any more than that. Like, be any fairer than that. But, him sending him off, you can't really argue with it either. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, next game.
Brentford Southampton. Brentford winning 3-1. Yeah, I don't be surprised. Is it Southampton? It's fucking terrible.
They were poor.
They're just not a good side.
Do you know what they were doing? Exactly what Burnley done last year. He got caught out twice trying to play from the back when they haven't got players good enough to do it, and they got caught twice. And Bremo scored the first one, an absolute mess by the centre half, and it happened again for the second goal. And when are they going to learn that unless you've got the players who can play up from the back, you've just got to send it long most of the time? And I can see the want of wanting to play nice stuff from the back, and it's all nice and pretty. These 1-2s, back to the keeper, back left, back to the keeper, and he plays it right or plays it straight forward to the midfielder. But if you haven't got the players who can do that, don't do it. I'd have been very disappointed if it was a Southampton supporter, because they look in trouble. They're one of the teams of quite a few who look in trouble, and they haven't got much for me.
And they were having the same problem last season in the Championship. This isn't like it's new stuff. It nearly cost them promotion last season, so you have to learn. But no. So, did you see any of it, Seamus?
No.
Did you watch any of the games on Saturday?
I don't know which games were on Saturday.
Okay.
Maybe if we get there, I might remember.
Okay, we'll go on to the Bournemouth game next then, and I'm sure Billy's got more to say about this. For those who don't know, it finished 2 for Everton, 3 to Bournemouth, and Everton were 2-0 up in the 86th minute before Bournemouth came back to win.
Yeah. It was actually 87 minutes, 86-36, I think, when he scored. But to be fair, Everton played very well on Saturday. For 86 and a half minutes, played very well. Could have been 3 or 4 up, and it wouldn't have, even their manager said, Everton were by far the better side. Played some really nice stuff, actually, but you can't implode like Everton imploded in whatever minute, never mind the last 3 minutes of the game with a bit of injury time. The defending was a result of some very poor substitutions by Sean Dyche. took off our best outlets, which is Ndai, who had a very good game. But as I say, Everton could have been 3-4, possibly 5 up at that stage. And then, once they scored, it opened the floodgates. You could see their confidence drain out of the Everton players when they scored. It was some very poor defending, some very poor goalkeeping. The 3 crosses that come in for their 3 goals were all inside the 6-yard box, and the keeper stayed on his line all the time. It was Mykolenko for the first one, let the ball bounce in front of him, was on the wrong side of the player, and he tapped it in from 2 yards. The second one came from Seamus Coleman on getting beat, absolutely skinned. And then the third one, cross in from the left, free header at the back post, Mykolenko again. But you've got to say that Sean Dyche's substitutions were very poor. He had players on the bench who could have affected that, but decided to play with a very tired Coleman, leave him on. Brought Decore on, who looks like a man lost. He looks like someone who's just come out of a coma, like I said last week, and he doesn't actually know where he is. You know, he's been good for us, but he's well past his best. Bad substitutions, and didn't take the right players off, and didn't bring the right players on to affect or shore up the game. And so the defeat has got to go down to Dyche, I'd say. But you've also the players, these are supposed to be top, very fit athletes, and they should have better game management than what they did. So very, very disappointing for them, and looks as though they're one of the teams who are going to be in big trouble this season.
So you don't think the first 86.5 minutes with the relevant point, you think the final, whatever it was, till the end, because it went to like 90, you think that's more relevant than the 86?
Yeah, it is, yeah. It actually is, even though we did play very well. You know, you can't implode like that. You can't lose concentration like that. A professional footballer can't lose concentration like that. And it just wasn't good. And the fans were absolutely devastated. They were devastated. That was the start of the season for them. We had 2 tricky games. Brighton, who were a decent side. Tottenham, who were a half-decent side. And then that was the chance that was a 6-pointer, because they're going to be in the mire. Let me tell you, Bournemouth are going to be in the mire. They looked very poor. Didn't have much at all for 86.5 minutes. And that was a 6-pointer, and Everton lost it at home. And that's a big kick in the teeth for Everton. And they've got to do something quick. Either change the manager or get some confidence back and maybe work on things, because, as I say, some of it was good, but you can't do what they done the last few minutes.
Yeah, but is that not the first 86 minutes or so that they played well? Is that not a sign that perhaps Dyche can sort it out?
Yeah, well, it is, because he decided after 2 games to start putting in players who got actually signed for the club. They mightn't have been his picks, I'm not sure about that. But, the supporters have been asking for changes, and he made the changes, and they made the difference. And Everton were a lot better. Tim Aregibon looked really good, by the way. But he was tired at the end. He's only a young lad, he hasn't played that much football. And he should have been substituted. He gave the ball away for the first one in midfield, and they scored from that. But you could see the confidence drain out of them. And you thought, you only say, you've got a consolation goal back at that stage. But everyone you could hear the nervousness of the crowd, because they knew that this could happen, and it did.
So
that's one of them things. Go on, mate.
I was going to say, do you think the crowds part of the problem though, because they're so nervous?
Yeah, very much so. Once they scored, you could actually hear the crowd go silent, and you could see that maybe something could happen. You could sense it. The crowd could sense it, and the players could sense it, but they never done anything to halt it. No one got on the ball. They had no one to get on the ball and hold the ball, play into a channel. He took Calvert-Lewin, who had a very good game actually, held the ball up really well, and he changed it for Beto. Beto is a battering ram that you throw on, to try and get you a goal, not to keep, because he loses the ball all the time. He hasn't got any hold-up play. And that was a problem. That was a bad substitution for me. Bad substitution. At least Calvert-Lewin will hold the ball up, try keep the defenders busy. He does nothing with that Beto. It's a bad substitution. He had the other lad, O'Neill, is it? You could have brought on the big lad. Centre half could have come on, and played 3 at the back. When you're 2-0 up with a few minutes to go, he could have took Coleman off, who was shattered at the time, and put young Dixon on, who's full of energy, bundles of speed, and he would have been a better option. He could have even brought Young on, but you could see Coleman had gone by that stage. And he's what age now? He's coming to the end of his career.
Isn't he? 85?
A bit older than that, I think, by the way he played in the last few minutes. But yeah, and so it was bad man management by Dyche, bad game management more than that. And he was very poor, and that's why people are calling for his head now, because they don't trust him to do the right things. What the club want, what the supporters want. He's doing what Sean Dyche wants to do rather than what people want him to do. But that's just football, I'm afraid. I just hope, and this is being very selfish, that we don't do what the talk of is of the city, which is bring David Moyes back. I think it's a backward step. I think he's exactly the same as Dyche, and not for me, but there's talk of David Moyes coming back to the club. Apparently it's being discussed at board level, and I just hope that's not that doesn't come to fruition. But it wouldn't surprise me if it did. Go on, mate, sorry.
It just seems a pointless one, that one. Bringing back David Moyes. I mean, they're just like sideways at best, isn't it?
Backwards, I'd say, but yeah, it is.
Should we move on then to Ipswich Fulham? 1-1 draw for Ipswich away at Fulham, at home to Fulham. I mean, that's a decent result for them. Get themselves up and running. Get their first.
They done all right, by the way. They started off really well. Took the lead. They did at Man City as well. But I think Fulham were the better side, to be honest with you. I did watch most of that game, and yeah, I thought Fulham had some really good instances, and they could have had a couple more goals. Ipswich, though, I'll give this to them. They fight hard. They all wait for each other. They're a team. Like not a very good team, but they are a team. Yeah, exactly the same shit. And and it wouldn't surprise me if they could be the best of the bunch. Leicester are doing all right as well, but I think Ipswich are playing as a team. It mightn't get you far in the long run, but at least they are having a go, and and they are showing that they're trying their hardest, and they're well organised as well. So yeah, they probably deserved the points. I just thought Fulham had slightly the better chances, but I think 1-1 was a fair result.
They're having a poor start to the season, Fulham.
Yeah, they're a bit in and out, yeah. They haven't lost by much, though, in the game, so that's a bit of a...
That can be
a bit of a
weird.
flip for them.
Sometimes
Yeah,
it's better to get a hiding because at least then you can sort out your problems. When
Yeah.
most
They only
of
just
our
got beaten
fans
United.
thinking you're not as bad as the results are making out, and not
Yeah, I
admitting
can
it.
see that.
Yeah. Next one's Leicester getting beat 2-1 by Aston Villa at home. It's hardly a surprise. Let's be honest. Villa are a much better side than Leicester.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched the goals more than anything there. Didn't watch the game. I watched the highlights of it. And Villa were actually cruising at 2-0. Bit like that, and then they coming back into it, scored a goal. And Villa weren't great then, although and they had a penalty given against them, which was overturned by VAR, correctly so. And but they could have blew that. It could have been a 2-2 draw, only that he was offside. And Villa done all right. Don't get me wrong. They're a decent side, they are a good side. So I thought Villa deserved it in the end, but they've been giving people a game, Leicester. I hope they go down because the cheats, especially over this PSR thing that they've got away with, and so I hope they go down. But on the football front, they're doing okay. They scored a couple of goals, and that's going to be vital to a lot of the sides who are trying to stay up, scoring goals. And I don't think they deserve to get anything out the game, but they did run Villa close, and Villa are a decent side.
Okay. Unless Seamus has got anything to add, we'll move on to Forest Wolves. Then.
Not really.
Yeah, see, I didn't think you'd have anything to add, but I thought I'd check. Forest Wolves was a 1-1 draw, bit of a. I watched some of this. Jesus, it wasn't a good choice. I ended up asleep.
No.
It wasn't a good game.
It wasn't a great game.
I just nodded off during it. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Woke up just in time to take, and I thought, I wonder how Everton are getting on. Turned it on, and it was the celebrations of Bournemouth because they'd scored the third. And I was like, no.
To be fair, Forest done all right, They played some decent stuff, and I was quite surprised how decent they were. And they were unlucky not to win it with Wood in the last minute, and scored. And he was just offside, but it was offside, so it doesn't count, obviously. But they played all right. They made quite a few good chances, and I think they'll be all right for us, to be honest with you.
Thing I've noticed though, the atmosphere isn't the same there, which is a problem. One of the things that's helped them in the last couple of seasons has been the atmosphere at home. If they don't turn that around, don't sort that out, I think they'll start to struggle, because that was a massive help for them before.
Yeah.
Anyway, final game of the Saturday was West Ham versus Manchester City. 3-1 to Man City. Seems to be a bit normal now. Them and then going and knocking 3 past them.
Haaland again. He's on fire. But West Ham a funny side. They can play good one week. Not so good. My forecast was that they beat City. How silly am I? It actually got to 1-1, and Diaz on goal. And after Haaland had scored, and I thought, they might be making a game of this, got a chance. But to be honest with you, City were too strong for them. Bernardo played really well, I thought, linked up with Haaland, another two goals after that. And there was just no way back for them then. West Ham.
Yeah, I think they were a bit outclassed, to be honest.
Yeah, it was in the end, yeah. I thought they were in it at one stage at 1-1, and they never really put the foot on the gas and just allowed City to play. And Kevin De Bruyne inside the post, another one at the bar, and they were very good well good enough City to take the 3 points. And they've had a great start to the season, and Haaland in particular. But yeah, they're going to be a hard team to break down, I think.
Yeah, they're gonna be. It's if anybody does finish above them, they win the league. Let's be honest, it's the same as every season, though, isn't it? It's always you got to beat them to win it. Next game then Sunday was.
Hang on.
Oh.
I watched that game, and I also would like to say West Ham did play well. Yeah, West Ham did play well. It's just that City are just that much superior to everyone that they didn't have to play to their best to win the game. West Ham could have equalized at 2-1. They had
when he hit the post. Kudos.
They hit the post. What a player he is. I know his numbers don't look the same, but he was very good. He was very good off of the right side and the center last season. In this game, he was playing more.
He looks a player, Kudos.
Especially in the second half, he was playing more from the left, and he was a constant threat. And also had some work ethic to match as well. He wasn't just
he looks a player. He does look a player.
Paqueta doesn't look right though, does he?
Even he had a decent few moments. It's just like I said, City have a cheat code in Haaland. When someone tries to attack, they invariably leave the space behind. City just need to turn over the ball and then find him in his face.
Yeah. They're just a level above, that's all.
Yeah, it is kind of boring, but West Ham need. I think this game shows why Moyes was sacked. Because if it was Moyes, I wouldn't have expected them to try and make a game of it at 2-1.
No. It'd just been sitting back and defending from the start, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and also it wouldn't have been. It probably would have ended 2-1, but it would have been easier for City.
Yeah.
The third goal was just as much a consequence of West Ham trying to sneak a goal back as much as Man City being that much bit superior. But back-to-back hat-tricks again for Haaland. I remember some experts somewhere in the internet saying he will have a harder time in the Premier League.
All right.
I don't know any experts, so I don't know who that could be. Chelsea versus Crystal Palace then on the Sunday was the first game. I didn't watch this because I was watching the Newcastle Tottenham game at the same time. It was on at the same time, so.
Your mate scored a cracker actually, Chris. He scored a really good goal. I
saw the quotes flying around that Crystal Palace chairman was surprised at the lack of concrete interest in Eze.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, Parish.
Yeah, because he's lazy and he's not very good, and he's got an attitude problem. He struts around like he's Pele when he's not.
Yeah, Palace done all right though, to be fair to them. Chelsea with a better team, I thought, but they had a couple of good chances, and Chelsea are an anomaly to me. They played well, they won 6-2 Wolves last week, and this week they won all at home to Palace. There's too much upheaval at that club for me, and I don't think he knows his best team yet, the manager. So maybe it'll come off for him, but I don't know. They just don't look right. They've got too many players who are individuals for me. Don't play as a team. Some lovely individuals, but no, they're just not a team for me. But we'll see as the season goes on, I suppose.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, there's a long way to go, but you don't think they'll be. There's no chance they're going to be in relegation battle, but also there's no chance they're going to be in a title fight. They're just not They're not a particularly good team. They haven't bought well. They haven't, really improved their team, and they haven't brought in a coach who's particularly good. which is why they're struggling against teams like Palace and I mean even the Wolves result. It wasn't like an absolute hammering they gave Wolves. They just were clinical. Had one of those games where everything went in.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
So anyway, Newcastle, Tottenham. Tottenham.
2-1 Newcastle.
Oh, fucking awful right now. What is
Yeah.
up with them? What has happened? Is it because Ange wants them to win things and they just can't handle it and it's gone? They've lost the plot because they just are truly dreadful right now.
To be honest, Newcastle aren't that much better. The Ange, honest to God, as a force. Go on, mate.
I was going to say they were terrible, but they were better side. I mean, that says it all.
Yeah. Two gung-go teams, having a go at each other. And, there was no great patterns of play. There's little bits of skill and going forward. But as regards a match, you know what I mean? It was more like a kids under 12 team. Or everyone chasing for the ball. That's what I see there anyway. And, and I don't know about Spurs. They're very Spursy, if you know what I mean. They're going to get beat by a lot of teams, I think, if they keep playing the way they are. I know they're missing the big lad up front, Solanke. He might have made a difference. They put quite a few good crosses in, and wasn't anyone there to finish it. But I don't think that they played too high a line. They got caught again by Newcastle, and two teams who I'm not expecting to be anywhere near Champions League for me. None of them.
No, I don't think Solanke's that good myself, personally. So.
No, I just think he might have made a difference against Newcastle. Because they did put some really good crosses in and not much on the end of them. But I suppose, that can work for them or against them.
How about you, Seamus? You see any of this?
No, I was waiting for the main event.
The main event?
Oh, yeah, so when we are.
Okay, I suppose we better get on to it now then. Man United versus Liverpool. I can't remember what the score was. Seamus, can you remember what the score was in this one?
I think this is my clear to take a leave. I will see you guys next Thursday, maybe.
Oh, Liberace, stop flouncing about. He just wants the attention. You're right, Bill. He's such a drama queen.
Let's be honest. It was a bit of a shellacking by Liverpool to Manchester United. First 15 minutes, it was pretty even. United were having a go. And then it all went tits up, really, didn't it? They weren't at the races. So very poor performances in midfield. And one of them from a player who I really rate, still young, Kobbie Mainoo. I thought he had a poor game on. And I like him. I'm a big fan of his. Thought he had a poor game. I thought Casemiro had a very poor game.
Oh, come on. You're being so lenient on Casemiro while being so harsh on Kobbie Mainoo.
No, I'm not. I'm being fair on both of them. I'm being fair on both of them.
You're not
I've already made excuses for
him. He had an excuse for him. He was playing for Liverpool. Bloody hell.
Match, come on, be fair. You can't really be that harsh on him because he only played.
Well, I was a bit disappointed with Kobbie more than anything because I rate some of things, but he is only young, and he lost the ball for the third goal, I think. But the midfield of Manchester United, for me, are too open. Ugarte might make a difference to that. But Bruno seems to think he can do what he wants, when he wants, where he wants. He'll go all over the field. And then he leaves Kobbie and Casemiro in the middle. And they both had really bad games. So everything was about the midfield for me, which Gravenberch absolutely ruled. And Well, for me it was. That's where everything come from. And for me, Liverpool outplayed them by miles, by absolute miles. It was like men against boys in the end.
It all came down to
But Rashford was awful. Go, mate, go.
I say a lot of it came down to getting the press right. Manchester United's press wasn't
Yeah.
working well. They were using trying to use the same system to press and add traps. But the problem was, even when they succeeded, they weren't making the most of it. Whereas their fullbacks were just bombing forward at will and not getting back. And so when Liverpool were using their press to win the ball back high, they had open space there because the fullbacks had gone, whereas Liverpool's fullbacks didn't bomb forward the minute they received, they won the ball back. So when they did turn it over from a press, they weren't caught out. That was a huge part of the win for Liverpool. That was, it's the fact that they just didn't, United didn't adapt to the circumstances of the match. They didn't say, hang on a sec. And you could see, this is the thing, you could see Martinez and De Ligt screaming at Mazraoui to stop bombing forward, but he was just ignoring them. And as soon as he got, as soon as the ball was turned over, he's off up the pitch like a rocket ship. But coming back, he was just cruising back like he couldn't be bothered. And that's a big problem. That's the difference. Is Liverpool players, whenever the ball was turned over, they were all herring back. I mean, there was, even at 3-0, you had Darwin Núñez winning the ball back to just, in the left back area. After Szoboszlai had raced back into it, to cover, because Robertson had got, it must have been Tsimikas at that point. I think had got forward. Sorry, it was Tsimikas had got forward and been caught out. There was a gap in the left back area. You had Szoboszlai and then Núñez coming back and filling in for them. Whereas when it was the other way round, I mean, what did Xerxes do all game when he was there? I mean, he wasn't offering much in attack apart from poor misses.
Yeah, he had 2 good chances, but fluffed his lines. Yeah. But Rashford was poor as well, Mark. He just doesn't look right to me. I think he needs to get away from the club, personally.
Didn't he create both those chances? He at least created.
He did. He certainly done one where he fluffed his lines. But, the attacking threat from Manchester United wasn't much for me. And Liverpool had a lot of good chances. I thought Mo Salah was excellent again. Just, the gulf between the two teams was massive. The scoreline flattered Manchester United a bit, I think. And, I know Deep was talking about them being top 4. I can't see United being anywhere near the top 4. So.
Not with this kind of play.
No, exactly. Not with that kind of play, no. What did you think of them?
Big time.
Yeah. What was your view on the game, Deeps?
No swearing.
I know. No. I know people have said it's not Ten Hag's fault that the defenders bomb on living space, that the people don't mark the back post properly, the players don't run back, and it is not his fault that players don't run back, but at the end of the day, he is the manager who at least to what we know, picks the team. If you pick the team, then you have to be held accountable for it. I have been a supporter for him. I've not been the one of the guys who've called for his head yet, but we have to be realistic. You can't just say the players should be doing better. The players should be doing better. The Liverpool players should have been doing better. They weren't doing better last season. They have had a new manager and now they're doing better. The manager can make a difference. So let's hold up some accountability for Ten Hag as well. The press not working for us. The players bombing in outer space without any real cohesion. That has to come down to coaching, and if it doesn't come down to coaching, then the player shouldn't be picked to play anyway.
Hmm.
Mm.
But I think it is too harsh to be calling out Xerxes. It's just first
Yeah, it's
start.
only
It's,
first
it's,
start,
it's
yeah.
the first start and against a big rival and a very good team who looked much better coached. We
Yeah,
can
I agree with that.
yeah, we can talk about the difference in class of players and everything, and it was, but the overall organization, the cohesion was completely missing for United.
Mm.
Yeah, they were very poor, United.
We didn't lose the match because Salah, Jota, and Diaz are a better front three than Xerxes, Rashford, and Garnacho. We didn't lose the match because Gravenberch is a better number six for Liverpool than Casemiro. We lost the match because Slot outcoached Ten Hag.
Hmm. I gotta say, Garnacho was dreadful. Robertson,
Somebody needs
absolute
to
shut him
teach him
up
how to
again.
cross the ball.
Oh, I think he's the most overrated player, and I can't believe he's up for that Copper Award as well. Because he's just makes no sense to me. I don't think he's particularly good. I know he scored that one great goal, but
But that was against Everton and Pickford, so how much can you count it?
oh, good point, good point. So
No,
it's only
he's
really a
capable.
half a goal when you put it like that, isn't it?
No. To be fair to him, he is capable of a brilliant moment like that. But he's just as inconsistent with his final ball. He's a bit like Luis Diaz for Liverpool before he became so good this season with his final product. Can run, works hard, but ultimately, if you can't produce anything, then it's all much of a muchness. And especially the issue I have with Garnacho playing is if it was ahead of Rashford, then fair enough. But against Liverpool, ahead of Ahmad, who was the goal scorer in the last game, it's
And
not
he's
like Ahmad wasn't having a
mm,
good start to the season
I think
either.
he's
So
a better player as
I'm
well.
surprised. And he's a much more natural right-sided player than Garnacho.
True, yeah, true, yeah.
So I was surprised to see Ahmad being benched for the game.
Yeah, I gotta admit that made my I was happy when I saw that Garnacho had started ahead of Diallo on the right because I think he's a much better player. He has more effect on the game. So it is, he's better with his choice of passing, his crossing, his shooting. You just know that there's a better percentage chance that he'll get it right than Garnacho, who works bloody hard. Fair play, he works a lot hard. I think he works harder than Diallo, but his work rate is all he has really at the moment. He's got a long way to go before he's a top class player for me. Anyway, so anything else we got to say about that game or any other
No,
game?
not really. I thought the referee had a very good game, actually. We get them stick all the time. Made some very good decisions there for me. Didn't bottle his decisions. People were asking for a foul on Casemiro fell over, and when Kobe Menu fell over, he never gave them. He let the play run. I thought he had quite a good game. I'm very critical of referees, but I thought no credit where it's due. So the referee had a decent game.
Well, it must have been quite good for him because he'd have hated both teams being a Man City fan. So either way, he'd have been happy whoever lost. So he could just enjoy it, you know what I mean? Anyway,
Yeah.
What did you guys make of the outing for Toby Collier?
didn't really do a lot. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't.
No,
He didn't really. He was. I mean, it's not a good
he
game.
tried that, but he was
Yeah.
very green for me.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see where he's only a young kid, and I can see where people are getting excited about him. He's done a couple of good things,
Mm,
but he's a bit green, a little bit naive in a couple of things. But, one for the future, I'd say.
He was the only player that actually managed to win the ball off Gravenberch. Where all the other times he'd turned, Gravenberch had completely fooled everybody else, but he was the one that read it and actually nicked the ball off him at one point. So, you got to give him... There is something there to work on, but it wasn't a game to be bringing on a kid and expecting him to shine. That's a game for him to, that's a game for him to be over.
That's
a learning experience for a youngster. That's the kind of game that you want them to come in. All this bollocks about bringing them on when you're 3-0 up, they learn fuck all from that. Absolutely nothing. When you're 3-0 down and you're struggling, you're being absolutely battered, that's when they learn something. Because they learn how to cope, how to cope with being battered, and what they could have done differently to stop an attack next time, where they could have positioned themselves. If they'd have only positioned themselves 5 yards further to the right, say, things like that is what they can learn from a game where you're getting battered. Game where you're winning, there's nothing to learn from it. You're not getting experience, you're just getting a run out. It's nothing. It's pointless.
Go on, Keith. What were you going to say, mate?
I was just gonna say, it was nice to see Ten Hag bringing him on instead of an experienced Eriksen.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
He did bring Eriksen on as well, though, didn't he?
No, but he could have just taken the easy way out and brought Eriksen in, or even one of the defenders in place of Casemiro. But it was nice to see him risking Collier.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's not going to win a manager of the month. It was a good decision.
It was a Premier League debut for him as well, so it's not someone who's been getting a few minutes here and there, and now just getting a bit more minutes. I thought it was nice to see the confidence he showed in Collier, but maybe that is also him kind of trying to prove a point to the higher ups about lack of options. But can anyone tell me what the hell was up with Casemiro?
He had a poor game, didn't he?
Really, poor game is just such an understatement. Come on.
Yeah, he had a nightmare then, okay. He had a nightmare.
That might genuinely be the worst half of football I've seen any half-decent player ever have.
I think half-decent's overselling his quality, to be honest. I don't think he's a very good player. And I think it's just being found out when he's playing for
No, but his body wasn't... It seemed like his mind wasn't working and his body wasn't working. So what was happening?
Yeah,
you couldn't even try to see what he was trying to do.
Yeah, but
and fail.
The trophies he's won. His wife shown you, so how can you question him?
Yeah, he won the trophy, but he was also shit against Liverpool. He was the man of the match for Liverpool. Come on. I know people are gonna blame different players, rightfully so, for not being in position, not doing their job properly, but at the end of the day, the 2 goals were directly from a turnover from Casemiro.
Yeah, he was terrible.
But yeah, he had a bit of a mare.
But I expected of him personally, so.
Did he just parcel? Did he just parcel a brown envelope from Philippines sometime back?
You don't need to for Casemiro. He's always been a terrible passer of the ball. You could get away with it when he was at Real Madrid because nobody was putting pressure on him. So he was only having to pass 5 yards. When they got the ball back, he's only having to pass it 5 yards to Toni Kroos or Modric. You know what I mean? He's not having to do anything. Now he's actually expected to play football, and suddenly it's a problem for him because he's not very good. It's that simple. He's also well overweight and not up to speed in the Premier League.
I was saying this all summer when McTominay was rumored to be leaving, when people were clamoring for him to leave, or at least be open for McTominay to leave. Getting Casemiro and his wages off the book, even on a free, was a much better thing for us. I know people are gonna. I said this on the live chat as well, and people responded by saying, "But then McTominay plays in a different position and a different role." Even as just a body in midfield, he would have done better than Casemiro.
Yeah, I agree.
And he can play that role as well. I mean, he's shown for Scotland he can play as centre back or defensive midfield. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think you let him go. Letting him go was a bit of a mistake for me.
I'm not gonna say it was a completely horrendous decision. I can see the business point of view, and I can also understand why people consider him to be someone who's disposable. But going into the summer, I was telling Chris this the whole time. Casemiro number 1, Eriksen number 2, McTominay number 3. That is how that is the ranking for midfielders to be moved on from the club. Now we're stuck with the 2 guys because we are overpaying them now.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
If you've gone as well as them 2, nobody's arguing with that. That's fair enough. But you've sold him and kept the 2 who are a bigger problem. Right?
And 24 hours later, one of the guy cost us 2 goals. The other guy was so good that a 20-year-old guy had to make his Premier League debut against Liverpool, 2-0 down, ahead of him.
Yeah, it's true. Good point.
But I would just like to say, let's end the segment by repeating what Pep Guardiola said. This is the end of pre-season. Now the real season starts.
Yeah.
You're only how many points?
That's what I'm thinking as well. I'm thinking exactly the same.
Yeah,
it hasn't started yet.
You're only 6 points behind now, Seamus.
No, what I'm like.
Wait now.
It's just like having an Everton points deduction.
If Ten Hag got summoned in by the higher ups to try and defend himself, does he pull this one out?
Yeah. Well,
Pep Guardiola says the preseason is over. The season is about to start now after the international break.
He'd be too busy talking about not being Harry Potter or Amazing Imagine.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
Maybe he's just gonna ask Omar Barada, the CEO, what the problems are, the constant mistakes.
Well, and he's won he's won more trophies than anybody but bar Man City in his time. So how could you suggest he should go? That's what he said.
No, I'm very close to suggesting he should go right here and now. But I look at the options. No, I look at the options and I just prefer not to speak. I prefer not to speak.
How can you, when the option is Gareth Southgate, you just start thinking, oh, fuck no.
No, genuinely.
Nagelsmann go. Would Nagelsmann go there, do you think?
No, he just signed on. He just signed on after was it during the Euros he signed on for another couple of years at Germany?
Oh, I see, right, okay.
Yeah,
So turns out the deal he had with Germany was if he got to a certain stage in the Euros, then he would be the manager for the World Cup as well.
All right, okay.
Yeah, he's not going to go to leave that now. He's actually improved them, hasn't he? So.
But genuinely, Billy, who do you think is of a realistic ideas? Who do you think is the best candidate if Ten Hag leaves right now?
If it is right now,
Sean Dyche.
Yeah, possibly. He'd do the same job, I think. No, I wouldn't know, to be honest with you. I'd be guessing.
No, if Dyche was here, we would be 9 points behind, not 6.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure.
I think the most realistic guy that I would have as number 1 would be Thomas Tuchel. And I am one of the harshest critics of Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah, it's not a nice choice, is it?
Yeah, when I look at Tuchel being the realistic number 1 choice, I prefer not to speak.
Yeah. Yeah, stick with what you got. It's not going to be any worse, let's be honest.
The football isn't going to improve, but I can see if Tuchel comes in, the defense gets better, and then and then we're gonna rely on a couple of flashes of individual brilliance, and then people are just gonna throw more mud at Ten Hag. Tuchel is just another version of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is what I feel.
Yeah, I agree.
Someone who can improve things for the first couple of months, and then
Yeah.
it starts going not so
Yeah.
good for
It
us.
falls out with everyone and everything, and it all falls apart.
No, those are differences from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but generally, Solskjaer is a top 3 candidate for me if I'm gonna suggest someone.
Yeah.
No, we're just no. I'm genuinely, Billy. I'm just looking at people that are out of jobs, not someone who we could throw money at
Right.
bring in. Because
David Moyes.
because it was one of the reasons given for Ten Hag being kept on, the compensation for him, and then the compensation for the other guys we would want to bring in.
Mm,
There isn't a lot of options out there, let's be honest. Not
Obviously,
that-
the best option is never gonna materialize. So no point.
no, it's a poison chalice, same as the Everton job. It's a poison chalice. Whoever you get in, it's not going to be a quick fix for United or Everton. So, should you stick with Ten Hag? I don't know. I think he's awful, but what are the options? I should say, might as well stick with him.
Right, should we move?
Since we decided to stick with him in the summer, so 3 games is too soon to decide.
Yeah, so very soon.
Let's move on to the other things.
Yeah.
Is there any other news you want to talk about? Or should we just move on to the awards?
Go on to the awards, Chris.
Okay, so we'll do the first ever See You Next Thursday transfer awards then. So we'll start with the Todd Bowley Award for the most insane transfer of the window. The nominations are number 1, Keenan Dewsbury Hall to join Chelsea as a Callum Gallagher replacement, just a downgrade of Callum Gallagher, but he's almost exactly the same player, but worse. Then there's the Chelsea signing Jadon Sancho to replace Raheem Sterling, on loan.
Yeah.
Which they've ended up with a player who clearly has no idea who their manager is, thinking he knew him from 2017 when he never joined Man City until, was it 2021? And then they're out of pocket on the deals anyway because they're paying more money out of it. Makes no sense whatsoever. Any of the countless goalkeepers Chelsea signed in the window is the next nominee because there's so many of them I lost track and I couldn't even be bothered to name them all. So none of whom have been good enough to displace Sanchez, who's utter shit. So what's the point in it? Gotta say the insane one is Liverpool signing a Mamadashvili. Much as he's a very good goalkeeper, I'm not disputing that, but he's completely unsuited to the way they play. Can't kick a ball, and yet they've already got the best, and he said he wants to stay and play. He doesn't want to go anywhere. So why do you sign a keeper that you got?
Pointless. Absolutely pointless. Yeah.
Pure insanity. And then it's got to be Chelsea again in João Felix, who only seems to have been signed because he was so nice in his previous loan spell at the club. I don't get that one. So yeah. Anyone either of you two like to add anyone to that?
No, I think you've covered that one for me. 3 of the worst signings you just mentioned. The Todd Bowley Award.
Seamus, anyone?
We should talk more about the whole Sancho Sterling thing.
Yes, the swap there, yeah. That was strange to me. I don't know why Man United have got away with murder there, I think, getting him off the books. I think he's awful myself.
I don't understand. How has he got such a hype train about him? And even when he's...
I don't know.
The hype about him joining Chelsea is like they've signed a world superstar.
Yeah.
How has this come about? The guy's been shit everywhere he's gone. He's not even been good. I mean, even at Dortmund, he wasn't good. He went back on loan. He wasn't good. But still, all you hear is, yeah, but he had one good game. No, he didn't. He had a few good minutes in one game. That's it. He's not done anything in his entire career other than that. It's insane.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it at all.
I know they're partly funding Raheem Sterling at Arsenal, paying part of his wages, and paying more of Sancho's wages than Arsenal are paying a Sterling, so they're out of pocket on that.
Yeah,
No,
I think
I
that's
think
just.
I think it's. I'm not completely sure on the numbers, but I think Chelsea are paying 100% of franchise wages, which is already higher than Sterling's, and then they're also paying part of Sterling's wages. So
Yeah.
they're paying about £400,000 a week to replace a player who was on 325.
Yeah,
Like
it's fucking insane.
somewhere around that. They wanted rid of Sterling so much that they were willing to pay more to get him out.
Yeah, they just buy and sell another hotel. Some other hotels for themselves, probably, and
just keep it the
cover it.
standard. I don't understand it. And it's not like it's
I don't understand
an upgrade.
Arsenal going in for Sterling, to be honest with you. Going back to Raheem, they've got Trossard off the bench. I don't see how he's going to make a big difference. If he was a natural centre forward, I'd say take it. But he's basically you've got wingers that do the same job as Sterling. I know he can't play a false nine, but I don't think he's exceptional at it. And it was a bit of a strange one for Arsenal. I don't know how he improves the side, for me personally.
No, me. I don't get it. Don't get either of those deals, to be honest. See?
No, I don't.
But the winner of the Todd Bowley Award, there can only be one, and that's Jadon Sancho signing for Chelsea.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Uncontested.
Yeah, I don't think there's an argument on that one, is there?
No.
Our second award then is the Ali Dia Award for worst signing of the window. And the first nominee is, again, Jadon Sancho going to Chelsea. Second nominee is anyone signed by Everton, simply because it'll be a year before Sean Dyche believes they're ready to play.
Yeah, not quite ready.
Yeah, there'll be a while yet. The third one is the two players Villa signed in return for Douglas Luiz, that Enzo Barrenetxea and Samuel Lilling Jr., because neither of them are likely to ever play for them. I mean, they've already banked them straight out on loan.
Yeah, both went out on loan.
Mm-hmm. The fourth nomination is Dominic Solanke signing for Spurs for 60 million. I mean, fuck's sake, from Bournemouth. He's had one good season in the Prem and he's suddenly 60 million. I just don't get it. I just don't see it at all. The fifth nomination is Calvin Phillips for joining Ipswich on loan. It'll probably take him till the end of the season to get anywhere near match fitness. Let's be honest. Let alone improve them. The sixth worst sign. The next one is Nottingham Forest signing of David Carmu from Porto because they've just signed him for Olympiacos. He's immediately gone there on loan. I mean, it's just another bizarre signing for Forest, that one.
Yeah. And Lewis Dobbin going from Everton to Villa, not even playing a game, and put on loan to West Brom.
Yeah.
It's another one.
But that was just
bizarre. Yeah, just a money-making PSR. Again.
Villa signing back Cameron Archer and then selling him like a few days later for almost exactly the same amount. What the fuck was that about? They didn't even make a big, didn't even make a profit on him because they would have lost more than that, and the 5% that would have had to have paid, they would have had to have paid Archer because he didn't hand in a transfer request.
And the agent fees and everything else, VAT. Yeah, they lost money.
It's a really weird one. But, unless Seamus come up with anyone?
We could name almost everyone that joined Chelsea.
Yeah, I know, but I thought, It's a bit too many. We've already, it's a bit unfair on Chelsea because they're going to win the award anyway. Because the Jadon Sancho's got to be the winner for the worst signing of the season.
Yeah, it looks it to me. He
It's,
might prove us wrong. You never know.
yeah, I can't see it.
I can't.
Right. Next award is the Xabi Alonso Award for the most regrettable sale. That one sale the club should never have made, and you always think, oh, if only they kept hold of him. So I'm gonna go first nominee because, obviously, as it says, Xabi Alonso was sold by Liverpool, regrettably. I'm gonna go for a player from Liverpool, is Sepp van der Berg. I'm gonna nominate because he had an excellent season in Germany on loan. Was never really given a chance at Liverpool. Second up, I'm going to say Conor Gallagher being sold by Chelsea. One of the few players at the club with any heart, and they didn't spend more time injured than playing, but they sold him anyway. And then Pedro Neto from leaving Wolves to join Chelsea. He was a key player for Wolves, but I think that'll be something he'll regret as well because he's just not gonna. It's not going to have the same effect at Chelsea as he did at Wolves, where he was the star of the show. It's the only ones I could think of. You two had any for that? Anyone you can think of?
No, I think the Conor Gallagher one was the one for me. It stood out a bit.
What about you, Seamus? Anyone?
I think Conor Gallagher gets the.
Okay, yeah. Well, the winner is Jadon. Oh no, you're right. It is Conor Gallagher. But it is Chelsea again, though. It has to be Conor Gallagher.
I think we can throw another name
into
this category. That it could be Ilkay Gundogan because he was one of the better players for Barcelona last season, and they let him leave on a free.
That was just fucking that. Now that is just crazy, that whole thing. So yeah, that's kind of a good segue into the next award, which is the What the Fudge Just Happened There award for the most bizarre transfer. Though the first nominee is Birmingham City in League One, the third tier in England, paying well over £10 million for Jay Stansfield from Fulham. He's a striker that spent the previous season there on loan and only scored 13 goals and 3 assists in 47 games. Yet they paid over 10 million for him in League One. I mean, the fuck? The second nominee is that Jamal Lewis joining Sao Paulo on loan from Newcastle. What? I mean, what? How does that even happen? And the third nominee, obviously, is Ilkay Gundogan returning to Man City on a free from Barca just a year after going the other way on a free, which was especially bizarre after all his comments following the move to Barca about how glad he was to get out of Manchester and how he hates the rain there. So yeah, that's. And the final nominee for me is Napoli for buying the Scotland midfield of Gilmour and McTominay. I mean, it was only a couple of years ago they won the Serie A, and now they're already sunk so low as to buy Scotland's midfield pairing. You don't get up much lower than that, do you? Let's be honest. So, you two think of anybody else? Any of those what the hell happened there moments that you thought during the transfer?
Oh yeah, Ivan Toney going to LRTN, whatever it's called.
Yeah,
Strange one.
It was a strange one, personally. I thought that was kind of obvious. Nobody was interested.
I thought it was a strange one because he was at the height of his powers, possibly with his age and in the England squad, and very well thought of before all this trouble he had with the betting and his attitude. But at the peak of his powers, he was very well regarded last year, and a lot of clubs were interested in including Arsenal, Manchester United, I believe, at one stage. And why would you just give up your career to, obviously for the money, but you still have a lot to offer, and I thought that was a strange one anyway for me.
Seamus, can you think? Have you got any that made you think, what the?
I guess that's really as well. Go on, Tips.
I guess the 10 million from Birmingham.
Hmm.
It's just too
Yeah.
good to ignore. We can name many, but that one's too good to ignore.
Yeah, how the hell did they end up paying 10 million plus? But I've got to give it to Ilkay Gundogan. Because, like, I mean, it's not just the fact that, like, he's going back after all that and all this talk about didn't want to go, didn't want to be in Manchester and hated it there. There's also the fact that he was only sold to allow, released, I mean, to allow Barca to get near to being able to register Dani Olmo. And even then, they had to sell somebody else and needed a long term injury to actually be able to register him. And even then, it's only until January. So,
I think the two names I can throw in just as honorable mentions would be Aaron Ramsdale and of I forgot his name. Joachim Anderson. The two moves that I don't really understand.
yeah, they were surprise moves. Actually, yeah, I'll give you that. I can understand the Ramsdale one. Southampton, they needed a keeper, and he's from the area.
Yeah, but did he need to go though? Because it was only last year he was in the England setup as the number 2.
Oh, sorry, holy shit, I forgot. Victor Osimhen to Galatasaray. What the hell?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was one I was thinking you'd mention. I was surprised nobody mentioned that one. So, but yeah, no, I still think Ilkay Gundogan wins it though myself. So
I'm giving it to Victor Osimhen. No, I'm giving it to Victor Osimhen.
Okay, up next.
He got forced out. He got forced out from Napoli.
He was trying to get a move all summer, but he just wouldn't. He just kept asking for ridiculous money. So that was the thing.
I don't know how much of that is his fault and the agent, because as soon as the window closed, he got rid of his agent and negotiated his move to Galatasaray by himself. No.
Yeah, exactly. Because his agent kept asking for too much money. So. Yeah, up next though is speaking of Osimhen, up next is the Ronnie Rosenthal Award for the biggest miss of the window, the failed transfer, the big one that fell through. Because the first nominee obviously is Chelsea trying to sign Osimhen. They even sold Napoli his replacement in the shape of Lukaku, but still couldn't get him signed. Next nominee is Zubimendi, obviously to Liverpool, but he preferred the mountains in Sociedad to Liverpool for some reason. Strange boy. Can't believe that, eh, Bill? I mean, there's plenty of mountains in Liverpool.
Absolutely, there's usually Butter Mountains or something like that.
Yeah. And the third nominee is Chelsea. They couldn't even agree for being unable to agree a deal with their feeder club to offload one of their keepers to them for a profit. When it's their own, the same owners, like. So they still couldn't agree a deal. I mean, how the fuck do you manage to mess up a deal to yourself, basically? I mean, Chelsea really did have the window to forget, just every single day. There was just something else to laugh at with them.
Yeah.
But I've got to give it to, I think, Chelsea for their Osimhen failure. Because everything about it, I mean, even the lad even is a Chelsea fan. He said so himself many times. You know what I mean? He wanted the move, and they couldn't make it get through. Make it go through. And obviously, he ended up sacking his agent straight afterwards for it failing. But clearly there was issues there. So
yeah.
Next up's Lord of the Rings Award for lengthy transfer sagas, which the first nomination is Osimhen for Chelsea's pursuit of Osimhen again, because it's went on for the entire window and about 6. It's been going on for like 2, hasn't it? It was the last January they tried to sign him as well. And second nomination is Ten Hag rebuilding Ajax at Man United. That's taken 3 seasons to do. Don't know if either of you two have got any other nominations. That's all I had for that one.
No, the most that did go through, 10 Koopmeiners to Juventus. Took forever to happen.
Yeah,
Manuel Ugarte to United.
yeah.
Took forever to happen.
Yeah, what happened with them? Because I thought both of them, they'd been done at the start, pretty much the start of the window. You knew they were done. And then, like, suddenly you're thinking by the end of the window, why haven't they been confirmed? It's really
Oh,
weird.
Yeah.
Ugarte was like all done and dusted like 2-3 days before. The KSI interest from Liverpool wasn't serious when that move looked like finally completely done, and then it still wasn't done. It took the last day of the window for it to be officially completed. That was quite bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bizarre. But I think the winner has to be Ten Hag for his rebuilding of Ajax at Man United. Because it has been just going on for years. This is just all he seems to be doing is by signing players that once played for Ajax. How many have we got now? 8, is it?
Let's just do a quick number. Onana, Mazraoui, De Ligt. Who else is there?
Martinez,
Oh yes, Martinez. Sorry, my bad. 4.
Zirkzee.
No, he
No,
didn't play for
no, it
Ajax.
wasn't Ajax.
He's Dutch. He's Dutch.
Yeah, he's the other part. I can't remember the other. I'm sure there's more. I'm sure. No, it's because
Anthony. There's Anthony.
Yes, yeah.
There's Anthony.
How could you forget him?
There's Ericsson.
I was also,
There's Ericsson.
yeah, true, yeah. I was also thinking of them the ones they tried to sign as well, like De Jong and that as well.
And the one we
Gravenberch
signed before. Yeah, the one we signed before Ten Hag and I've got rid. Donny van de Beek.
Oh
Yeah.
Donny, yeah. I bet you must miss him now. Could have done with him
Yeah.
the weekend.
We replaced one injury prone, slightly fragile, soft midfielder with another one. Just spent about 60 million to do that.
Well, that's a step in the right direction then, isn't
Yeah.
it? Okay.
I'm starting to think I might be the biggest critic for Mason Mount.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't remember saying one half decent thing about the whole transfer. I still don't understand.
No. Poor transfer
Is
there.
it?
No.
And I said so from the get go. It was a pointless spend.
Wasn't a player you needed. That's the key thing. It's
Yeah.
not that he's a bad. It's not that he's a bad player. It's just he wasn't a player you needed. And the whole point of signing, recruitment policy is to buy players you need, not players who just happen to be good. A bit like Liverpool buying Mamadashvili. It's not the problem isn't that he's a good player. The problem is Liverpool don't need a keeper, so it's just a waste of money.
Pointless, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, the next one is this one is just going to be it's just a joint award, and it's the Harry Redknapp Award for dodgy dealings, and that's a joint award for all those teams that were in PSR trouble last, in the end of the previous,
Psycho.
the previous transfer cycle. Everton, Forest, Villa, and Chelsea, and every deal they did.
Oh, Newcastle. Don't forget Newcastle.
And Newcastle, yes, sorry. I forgot to turn the page, so it's on the other side. Yeah, all of them, all 5 of them, dodgy as hell. You just can't split them, can you? Because they were they were deals between each other as well, most of them. That was the thing.
Yeah.
For random people.
Yeah. People, even the fans of the club, are like, who the fuck's he?
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, there's very few of them that you could actually understand the silence. So, yeah,
I'm very happy with the Regabon though. He was one of them, and he's turned out at the moment, to be a very good player.
But he's the only one of them. It literally is the only one of those that has worked out. But, right, anyway, should we move on to the next one? It's the Sexless Seamus O'Deeps Award for the biggest anticlimax of the window. And the first nominee is Ivan Toney signing for Al Ahly. The second nominee is Victor Osimhen joining Galatasaray on loan from Napoli. And so far, that was the only two I could come up with, but I had to include that award because I thought of that name. Once I thought of that name, I thought I've got to. I've spent ages. That was what we were. That's why we were so late, Seamus. Honestly, because I come up with that name and I was trying to think of nominees for that award. So I only had the Ivan Tony one. I was thinking, shit, I've got to think of a second one at least. Can't have an award with just one nominee. But I've got to have that name. Once I thought of that, I thought, no, that's got to be in there. So, yeah, if you got anybody else that could be in the nominees, please add them. No, you got no one?
No.
No, for completely the opposite reason, it could be Sterling to Arsenal as well.
Yeah, that's a good shout, good nominee. Then, in that case, I'm going to have to go for the Ivan, I Bet Tony, joining the Saudi team, a country where gambling is
Tony.
Yeah,
Ivan Tony. What a chant!
What a chant that is.
But if you're taking about 100, 10 times or 20 times as much money as before, then you can put up with that. Come on. But I have to again give it to Osimhen.
Yeah, that's the two, isn't it? It is between those two. It's only.
It's a joke, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter which gets it, really.
Kepa is another nominee from Real Madrid to Bournemouth. What a jump!
Yeah, but to be fair, he's still way above his actually skill grade.
Yeah, but he's way below his hype.
Yeah, terrible player, that one. Anyway, should we move on to the next one? It's the Tottenham Hotspur Award for the biggest fail of the window. So the first nomination is Richard Hughes at Liverpool. Everything he did, pretty much.
Yeah, your favourite person in football right now.
Yeah, and second up, Chelsea have to be in there.
Todd Bowley has to be in there separately for failing to do a transfer with himself.
Yeah, that's true. Todd Bowley's number 3 then, and is Barcelona.
You've thrown two very good options there. Todd Bowley and Barcelona.
And Chelsea, because obviously they were still involved in even the transfer with themselves. Todd Bowley. See, for me,
how can you fail doing a deal with your two clubs?
I really do not understand that one. Somebody's got to have to explain what happened there. Unless somebody had said to him, hey, that's not going to pass legality checks.
Oh, you're saying you can sell your hotel to yourself? That can pass, but you cannot sell players from club to club. When the players do move from those two clubs, anyways.
Yeah, but I think it's the profit margin, because it was a huge profit, and it
wasn't a huge profit. It's about 4-5 million.
Yeah, but it's a huge profit for a player who hasn't played. It's
Come on, I'm giving this one to Todd Bowley.
Well, I was thinking it'd go to. I was thinking myself Chelsea, because they've turned shambolic transfers into an art form.
Yeah, but they have just also extended Jackson's.
Yeah, that's true.
To 9 years. Yeah. Give him another 2 years and put him on a 9-year contract now instead of he only had 7 years left.
I know, because they were worried about losing him. Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
It's lucky they jumped in there.
All summer. They spent all summer chasing after a striker to
replace him.
At least on paper replace him.
Yeah.
And as soon as the window is over, they've given him a 9-year deal.
I think Todd Bowley wins that hands down. It's going to be the Todd Bowley trophy next year.
Yeah, I think you're right. Actually, that's got to be.
No, but there are so many Todd Bowley awards. We have to. No, we can. I think we should make a blanket. I think we should make a blanket ban on calling Abbas Todd Bowley and giving Abbas to Todd Bowley. Those two things should be avoided.
Because it's far too
Wouldn't it be
easy.
great? Wouldn't it be great if his name was Oscar instead of Todd? Oscar Bowley. Yeah, it'd be like giving the Oscars out, wouldn't it? Then you know what I mean. Everyone gets an Oscar.
But we could call him
You
the
get a Todd.
Tods. Call them the Tods. Next year they'll be the Tods then.
Yeah, that's right. That's
January.
right.
We could do January. Ah,
Yeah.
there won't be enough transfers though.
There will be enough. Yes.
There will be for Chelsea alone. Let's thinking about it, won't there? Right, should we go on to our final award then? It's the Mo Salah award for the best signing of the window. I had to go with Mo Salah because I couldn't think of anybody else to put, who's generally agreed to be a good signing, like, off the top of our heads. So, first nominee, well, I know I said Richard Hughes was up there for fail at the window, but I'm still going to put Federico Chiesa simply because a couple of years earlier, Liverpool had offered them 100 million and they rejected it. So,
Yeah.
getting him for 10 million, even if he's not as good when you don't need it, it's not actually, there's no pressure on him to perform or that. So it's just a backup to Mo Salah, basically, someone to push Salah.
Yeah.
I think it's a decent signing. Second, I'm saying Andres to Wolves. I think that's a good signing. It's a really impressive signing. I'm surprised that nobody else was in for him. I think he could turn out to be a game changer for them. Though their midfield's quite impressive, actually, to be honest. Lamina and that. I'm going to say Smodzic joining Ipswich, I think, is a good signing. If he performs like he did last season in particular. Also going to put up Ugarte to Man United because they desperately need someone like him.
No, I was just gonna say Ugarte because it means Casemiro doesn't have to play.
Greaves from Hull City joining Ipswich as well. I think Ipswich should.
Yeah, he looks a player then, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to nominate Everton managing to find someone to take Holgate off their hands. I think that's got to go down as one of the best signings of the window. And even better,
And
the next one is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not just managing to get someone to take him off his hands for the season, but he's also managed to get a loan fee off Marseille for him. I mean, that's just genius work.
With an option to buy as well.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's basically like, I mean, surely they can't be that stupid.
Who was the one City though? The young lad? Yeah. I think that could be a sign for what he paid for him, you know what I mean? Yeah, he looks a player to me.
Inconsistent though, that's the only thing that'll be...
Yeah, still only young though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a great player though. I really like the look of him.
Mm.
Standout last season for Girona. Absolutely brilliant.
One Bissaka to West Ham.
Yeah, I've got to say, that's a good signing for West Ham, that, isn't it?
Mm.
And he looks a much better player. Just
yes,
not
not
playing in red. He's attacking. No, just the way he moves his body looks much more comfortable.
Maybe
because he looks so awkward for us.
Maybe he just didn't like Manchester, like Ilkay Gundogan.
No, or maybe it's just a case of him needing easy, clear, direct instructions.
Yeah,
it could be. Or it just could be the 3 games into the season.
Yeah, pressure of being at a big club as well at United wouldn't have helped. If he's not getting clear instructions and then he's not getting coached properly because he wasn't under Ole and that. There's a lot of reasons for it, I think. But I think the winner, and I'm going to have to go, I'm going to suggest now, the winner for me is Liverpool for the short-term loan signing of Casemiro for Man United for the game last weekend. He has to win it.
He was outstanding performance.
Fantastic for that. I know it's only a short-term loan, but what a signing. What a signing that is. It's got to go down as
I think the move. No, I think the transfer for me. I'm gonna throw a name and I'm gonna declare it my winner. Wolves getting 50 plus million for Pedro Neto, who has less goals in the Premier League than Maguire.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I think it's in the past one or two something season, but he has.
He does get
I
injured.
was yeah, but I also thought he was. I still think he's a very good player, especially when he was at Wolves for the level they were in. But the sheer number he has aren't correct.
Mm.
No,
Yeah,
no, you're right.
he doesn't get he's not the most effective, especially if I can't remember whether it's on the right or the left. One side, he doesn't look right at all.
Can I change
He's
my
good.
pick? Can I change my pick last moment? It
I
has
don't
to
think
be
it has to be your
Manchester.
pick anyway,
No,
because I've already chosen the
it
award
has to
winner.
be. No, it has to be Man United getting someone to pay the full salary for
Jadon
Sancho.
Sancho, yeah.
No, Sancho, and then still managing to get a loan fee, and then still managing to get an obligation to buy. That is the deal of the summer.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Wouldn't argue with that.
To be fair,
No, we spent 99% of the summer not being able to move him on, and then we someone who was willing to pay his wages, loan fee, and then agree to an obligation. Wow.
and there's no reason why Chelsea even needed him. Well, where does he fit? They've just signed Neto. They just literally signed Neto for the same position.
And then Felix, who can play off the left. They already had Nkunku,
Yeah,
who started the season on the left.
yeah,
Then they have a 100 million guy in Mudrik.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they got Cole Palmer who can play all across the front. And who else? The other guy, Jackson, plays often off the left as
Jackson.
well.
Yeah.
You know, absolutely the one thing they didn't need was a left winger, and they signed Sancho, whose best football, what little of it there's been, has been on the left. Bizarre. Absolutely fucking madness. Chelsea really are just the worst run club at the moment in the Premier League. It's an absolute joke. And some of their fans actually think they're going to be challenging for the top four this season. And if they are, it's
Can't
the
see it.
biggest miracle in football history if they finish top four. I can't see Maresca lasting the season personally. I think he'll be gone long before.
Who would they get though? Who's going to take that Chelsea? I'm sure there'll be someone, but can you name anyone who would think might improve them?
You say that like Bowley's got plans rather than just he does things and then throws money at it afterwards. I mean, look at what he did. Look at what he did when they picked Maresca in the first. They picked. They sacked Pochettino, for which nobody can quite understand, can they? Nobody's really like saying Pochettino had to go, and then they
No.
tried to get 5, 6 other people before eventually ending up with, well, we'll take this bloke anyway, Maresca, he'll have to do, because nobody else wants it. So I'm not sure Todd Bowley's actually got the, it's not like he's planned ahead and thinking about it. He's just gonna do and then think afterwards, oh shit, now what? That seems to be their entire plan. I mean, their transfer policy. Just buy them and then afterwards you think, well, we've got, afterwards they think, well, what are we going to do with them all? That seems to be exactly what they've done. They've literally just signed hundreds of players and then tried to figure out what to do with them afterwards. There's no thought or planning.
Yeah. Scattergun approach. Yeah, absolutely.
Just go and buy them all and then we'll see what happens afterwards. See what we end up with at the end of the window. The manager's saying, well, half of these I don't even want, so he's sticking them in a bomb squad thing, and then they're still there, half of them, more than half of them. Most of them are still there. They had something like 19 players training away from the first team. How many of them did they offload in the end? Was it 8? Something like that? So they've still got most of them there. It's ridiculous. They're an absolute... They're symbol of exactly what not to do when running a football club right now.
Right, so we're all done then.
Unless you've got anything else to want to talk about.
The Chelsea squad for Conference League.
To which teams?
The Chelsea squad for the Europa Conference League. The omissions.
Have they announced it?
Yeah, Cole Palmer is missing. Fofana is missing.
How old's Cole Palmer?
22, 23.
What?
He's above 21.
They've left him out of it? Seriously?
Yeah, because they have a long season with the World Cup in mind, so he's not in the squad for Conference League.
They've left him out of the... Really?
One trophy they could realistically win.
And, I mean, Chilwell you expect not to be in it, but... Christ,
Yeah,
they've got
Chilwell
Lavia
is
as
the
well.
one of him. Yeah.
That makes no sense. Why leave him out?
Especially when it's your only realistic shot at winning anything.
Yeah. And it really is.
You know, if you are going to do that, I understand if you're saying, right, we're going to rest the first team, the first choice players. Surely you put players like, in that case, you put players like Chilwell in it instead. Put all the bomb squad players that can't get in your team the rest of the time. If you're saying you're going to rest them, you stick them all in, don't you?
But as Dean said, that looks like it's going to be their only, their major goal for this year, realistically, because they've got no chance of getting top four, I don't think. And, then you're relying on cups. You want your best players to be available to try and win you something. That does seem a strange decision to me.
I can understand leaving out Fofana because he's crap, but Lavia and Palmer makes no sense. But Reskers, that really is weird. I suppose they will be managing their minutes because they won't be in it long.
Yeah, it's a match for them, isn't it? Well, they'll do what they want to do, I suppose.
Yeah.
Right, boys, that's me. I'm going for my steak. I'm having steak baguettes with mushrooms, onions, and cheese on top. And that's what I've got coming today for me tea. Anyone's interested?
I'm hungry now. Thanks, mate.
You're very welcome. Listen, thanks very much for today, boys. And obviously, I will see you next Thursday.
Yeah, see you next Thursday, Bill.
So, thanks, Chris. Thanks, Seamus. Yeah.
Bye.
Good boy, boys.
To all the listeners, see you next Thursday. Bye-bye.
Ta-ra.
See you next Thursday, I guess, for us as well.